Buenos dias. This is Kai Pacha with the weekly Pele report. It is an astrological forecast. This one is for the week of October 2nd, 2013. Yesterday, Tuesday, the Sun squared Pluto. Sun in Libra, squaring Pluto in Capricorn. Tomorrow, Thursday, the Sun moves on and opposes Uranus. The Moon has been in Virgo, and tomorrow it goes into Libra. And on Friday, we have a new moon, with the Moon conjuncting the Sun, opposite Uranus, squaring Pluto, activating that T-square. It is an amazing new moon that we are going to have, and it highlights this whole Uranus-Pluto square that's going on for almost 3 years. So we want to talk about that a little bit. What else is going on? Well, you know, Venus is moving into Sagittarius early next week, and then Mercury is coming into conjunct Saturn. So, pretty intense. I know, I always say that, but, you know, you gotta... It is. What can I say, man? This planet is intense. So, and it's an intense time. Pluto is intensity. You know, and when we come into a T-square with Pluto, and of course it could be a grand cross if you want to include Lilith down there in Cancer, you know. So anyway, let's find a spot and talk to you. All right. I hope that you can bear with me for this report, because a lot of this just came to me last night, and it's like many different aspects or elements that are woven together in kind of an abstract way. So I'm going to do the best I can to bring this around. We're looking at this Uranus square Pluto, which began with the Uranus-Pluto conjunction in the mid-1960s in Virgo. And this was the birth, the beginning of a new state of consciousness. Uranus is the individual consciousness, Pluto is the soul. These two came together, and a new seed was sown in the collective unconscious and in the individual unconscious of all those born at that time and since then. And this is the birth of the new paradigm. I really see it that way. And it comes out now in this first square. I've talked about this in many Pele reports and in many different times. And this whole shift, this whole transition was about free love. You remember the 60s? Free love. This is something, because we've now got this North Node, Saturn in Scorpio, with this square coming around with Pluto up in Capricorn and Uranus coming through Aries. And I just want to relate this back to that the first exact square. Okay, this came around in the summer of 2012. And then, you know, this square has been active, and it's going to remain active until the spring of 2015. But one thing that happened right around the exact square, within 2 days of it, I was reminded by Christina Orr, a very good astrologer living here in Puerto Viejo. Within 2 days of that exact square, Fukushima happened. Yeah? The tidal wave, the disaster with the nuclear power plant, and just this last week I'm reading about, again, how this power plant, you know, Unit 4, I posted it on Facebook, you can check it out if you want more information, but this Unit 4 has these just about spent rods that need to be removed, and this mess needs to be cleaned up, or it can work into a catastrophe. I think it said something like 26 times Chernobyl. It's basically, it could destroy, huge parts, if not the entire planet. If this is done improperly, they're exposed to the air, they can explode, we can have a nuclear explosion. This is just like absolutely huge. And what's more about it is that the energy companies and Japan have wanted to keep it secret, wanted to keep it private. They don't have enough money to fix it themselves. And this calls for all of the scientists, a worldwide effort of bringing everybody together to solve this problem for all of humanity, for Mother Nature, and for the future of our survival. So there's money involved, there's power involved, there's secrets involved, because there's a fear of looking bad, looking stupid, humbling themselves in front of the world community and asking for help. This is very much about, what needs to shift and change. And now I'm going to bring in a whole nother dynamic, because we see that the patriarchy, this male-dominated 6,500-year cycle, has been about self-interest, and it's been about the gathering of power. This is greed, financial power in our relationships, sexual, emotional power, financial power, money power, fame and fortune, land. This grab, it's been a money grab for power. And this has just really been, excluding those and creating separation. And what we're now wanting to do is rebalance. So this new moon in Libra is this rebalancing of relationship. And the way that that's going to come about is it's opposite Aries. Uranus in Aries is deep awareness of myself in relationship to community. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. This is the age of Aquarius. It's about community and how the individual is a part of a community, relates to the community, is really, these are issues that are coming up now, and they're going to be coming up, like I say, till the spring of 2015. And Saturn in the North Node in Scorpio says it's time for us to get real. It's time for us to understand our interdependence. And this is breaking the old mold. And this breaking the old mold, I say one of the molds that needs to be broken is first we had this surgence of codependence. Oh my God, are you codependent? Do you need your partner? Do you need somebody else in order to be yourself? God forbid, heaven forbid, break out of it, break free, let go, da-da-da-da-da. This breaking out. Like Japan, like the scientists, like we'll handle it ourselves. We don't care. We don't need expert advice. Other scientists, we don't need extra money because we can't afford to do it ourselves. We're just going to let this thing go on and on. This thing happened, I think a couple of years ago, This is just like, we're building on insanity here. So, what this is really calling for, this new moon in Libra, is interdependency, intradependency. We are. The chain of life is all interdependent. If we're going to end separation and come into this unified understanding of consciousness and return to this nirvana state or, unity of our spirit oneness, we got to get over the separation. We've got to get over pride. And some of that pride is also fear. It's this fear of being humble, this fear of being vulnerable, because of the fear of being used or manipulated or taken advantage of. It's hard, Humility is associated with weakness or smallness. Like if you're humble, you're weak. If you bow down to somebody, you're less than them. You're not worth as much if you're humble. But this doesn't necessarily need to be a definition that we carry into the future. Humility and power can go together because there's an awareness and a conscious acceptance of our interdependence on each other to save the planet, to build bridges, corporations, businesses, security, family. I mean, you're not going to build a family by yourself either, man. Oh, God. Well, I was going to bring this whole other thing, but if we got time, you can always turn this off if you don't like it. Interest. I was trying to think back, and I'm going to do some research on this. It just came to me in the middle of the night last night. It's like, when did we start charging interest? Think about it. You know, now the Federal Reserve, gives money to the country and charges interest. It brings debt. We're all in debt now. This is Saturn in Scorpio, North Node in Scorpio. We need to look at the relationship of power, money, debt, sex. It's all this deep, dark stuff where we want to merge but are afraid to merge. We need to trust but we're afraid to trust. You can't do business without trust. We can't do anything without trust. And these are our trust issues, are coming up now because of a fear of losing power, losing our money. So I'm saying that I can see changes, but the outside world is a reflection of our inner reality. If we want free love, if we want free energy, it will come about as each one of us, as individuals, begins to freely give and also ask, humbly ask, and trust that we won't be manipulated or used or spit on, but that we'll still be powerful and respected and get our needs met through asking. And that it actually dissolves separation and brings more unity when we do ask. And that we give to each other freely. And when we give to each other freely without interest, without like you owe me more than I gave you, or I'm giving to get, I'm going to give you some money so I can get more. This is like I think humanity is learning these lessons in selflessness, these lessons in egolessness, and this Uranus-Pluto is helping bring about this shift in consciousness so that we can go forward and do this with Chiron, Neptune, and Pisces. So like this new moon is like, it can be a time, there can be some, cooperation. This is like do relationship in a new way. New moon in Libra. Yeah? So that we can really move forward. And Mercury conjunct Saturn in Scorpio. The feminine moving into Sag. Oh God, it goes on and on. I could talk forever. But, I don't know, maybe I've said enough. It's hard to ask on bended knee, admitting you've got what it is I need. But once I do, I'm completely free, and love can grow as I becomes we. That's the mantra for this week, and it has to do with us personally as individuals, but also, Japan, get this, get this nuclear, Pluto is fusion, nuclear fusion happening, and its nuclear power plants is Pluto, and Uranus is sudden, unexpected, events that need to what? Bring Capricorn, world communities, world governments, world scientists, world thought together. This is a week where there can be some super positive breakthroughs if we are all ready. So it can happen in the big global level. It can happen with the banking system going through some changes. It can happen with governments going through changes. But like I say, these external things are all reflections of individual people's consciousness. And as each one of us heals that state of separation, that need for power, and begins to trust and share and humble ourselves in our relationships, in our personal lives, that consciousness is going to spread through the collective, and then the larger institutions, religions, governments, pharmacies, whoever, banks, that's when that stuff is going to change. So I encourage, whatever. I encourage you to do whatever you want. This is just an astrology forecast that it's a good week. Did you get that? Have a good time with it. All right, now let's go again. It's hard to ask on bended knee, admitting that you have what it is I need. But once I do, I'm completely free, and love can grow as I becomes we. Let's move into the new paradigm together in community, love, relationship, sprinkling out, spreading out in concentric spheres throughout the entire universe. Enjoy, namaste, aloha, so much love.